you're going to always run into opposition. You're going to always run into obstacles. You're going to run into people that's always, it's like a stop sign. It's like people will refuse that person in their own village and embrace those from external forces and still get a project that is not near the quality that you would give them. A lot of times people will refuse that person right there with them because they always think something is better on the other side or where the grass is greener. Everything is about information now. And it could be positive information or it could be negative information. You know, I heard a man say the other day, which was a very, very profound statement. He said sometimes he know people don't like him. And then he said sometimes he know because he don't like himself. And that's cool. I accept that. I'm very receptive of anything anyone say. But there's a flip side to everything, because flip side to that is sometimes people do like you. And sometimes you do like yourself. And really that's the main focus. Do you like yourself? And focus on those who like you. Because you're going to always run into people who don't like you. They don't like what you're doing. They don't like what you're trying to do. They don't like what you want to do. And if you really, really, really put it out there too tough on what you're trying to do, people will try to steal what you're trying to do. You have to deal with toxic people no matter where you are, what you're doing, or where you go. Whether it's negative or positive, you gotta take that information, compile that information, put it together, and see how you can use it in your personal process. And basically that's what it's all about. It's like putting gas in a car. You put gas in the car, it's processes, combustion take place, and then the output is that car start moving. It's the same with life. When you input that negative, if you can't use it, you gotta get rid of it. Don't even let it come in. See, because it's when you try to process that, I tell you what, go put some sugar in a car and see what happens. See, because it don't have no business in there, because it don't have anything to do with the process of what you're trying to do. You need something in there that goes with that particular system, that particular car. In order to move that car, it has to have gasoline. Well, now they're electric, so it has to have electricity. But whatever you put in that car has to be able to move that car from point A to point B. If you put sugar in there, if you put water in there, if you put anything in there that has nothing to do with the process, a car not gonna move, first of all. And if you continue to try to make it move against its design, that car gonna self-destruct. The engine gonna lock up, etc., etc. So the moment you say, I'm finna do this or I'm finna do that, and that toxic information start coming in, the process get interrupted, because you're not designed to process that to do anything positive with it. It's negative information. Every morning is a good morning for me. I did a couple projects. When you really look at a good dancer, they have so many combinations and so many parts in their routines. When they competing, people don't really know where they're coming from. I learned from that culture. I learned that when you have a lot in your arsenal, it's hard for people to compete with you. In other words, if you got so many combinations, so you can come from so many different perspectives, when it becomes a question of competition, then it's hard for people to compete with you because you at your best. And that's really what practice is. If you really listen to a lot of good dancers, they practice every day. They practice a lot. A lot of them say that's a lifestyle. So if you take that same concept, that same principle, and apply it to something else, you apply it to technology, or you apply it to books, or you apply it to mathematics, or you apply it to software, any type of tool, cameras, lighting. If you take that same concept or that same principle and apply it to something that you're passionate about, you're going to get the same results. You're going to have just as many combinations and things in your arsenal as a video producer, or as a singer, or as a musician or editor that a dancer might have, or a musician might have. So whether you dancing, whether you doing video, whatever you're doing, it has a theory of operation. It don't really matter where you are. You're going to get that negative and you're going to get that positive. Sometimes it's just common sense. It's just logic or rationale. If I come on here and tell you what you can do, like you know, what you can do to stop smoking, or what you can do to stop doing whatever, then that's easy for me to say. But what about my own faults? So if it's as easy for you to stop smoking or doing what you're doing, why come it's not that easy for me? And if it's not that easy for me, then it's not that easy for you. So it's not about me simply saying you could stop doing X, Y, and Z if it's that easy for all of us, then why is it not that easy for you? You see, because the counsel or the advice is usually, if I just do this, then I can change this. But if that's that easy for me, why is it not that easy for you? I get a better understanding with people or anyone when we understand that we both human and it's not that easy for either one of us. So we have to work on one accord to understand that our main goal on one accord is to transform or change whatever it is about us that could correct us or improve us. A lot of times I hear people say, why are people turning away from God? They're not turning away from God. They turn away from doctrines, all these different doctrines, all this advice, all these opinions, all this. They're not turning away from God. They turn away from doctrines. They turn away from religions. You see, they're not turning away from God. So they turn away from certain doctrines that stand on certain principles where they can see the hypocrisy sometimes so deep that they question it to a point that if you don't have an answer for them, then you're going to have problems. You're going to get resistance. Because we get it from our young. We get it from the youth. When we don't have an answer for them, see, and we don't have an answer for them, they see the hypocrisy in it. Now you got conflict. And that's with anything. So a lot of times when you're dealing with people, like they say in your own village, sometimes it's difficult, it's conflicting, it's controversial. And then, you have people that wrong you, betray you, deceive you, etc., etc. Can't get caught up on that. I can't get caught up in my feelings because my feelings change every day. So I can't deal with people where you make me feel good and then you make me feel bad, you make me feel good. I have a decision to make. What is my goal? And what is your contribution to that goal? And if we on one accord and we try to get one place, then how do you contribute to me getting to that place? If I'm trying to get to heaven, you see, and I got to keep arguing with you and debating with you about how to get to heaven, and you can't really lay out to me how to get there, then I don't really have time to be arguing and debating with you. So if you're creating conflict and distractions, you got to go. It's that simple. I've seen people in large groups celebrating failure. And that's what we do. And I'm no exception to the rule. At what point do we see I'm celebrating failure? I'm celebrating failure here. I'm investing in failure. I'm contributing to failure. And the person that bring a liberating mindset or a challenge or conversation or discussion that has to do with liberation, that has to do with production, positivity, transformation, spirituality, etc., worship, faith, whatever you want to call it, that person gets all of this flack, all this conflict, all this pushback, all this resistance. But we understand it because, right, who am I? Or who is that other human being? If a perfect man came down here and we killed him, what do you think they're going to do for you? He was just trying to tell them something. And it's the same thing with you. You're just trying to tell them something. You're just trying to share something that you may have woken up to, that you may have consciously come to a level that you understand that what I was doing is not necessary anymore. I am right now. See, who are you? Ask a person who they are and they'll tell you what they do. Who are you? If you lose your job, who are you? If you lose your husband and wife, who are you? If you lose your kids or your girlfriend or your friends, who are you? Because we think without that, we're nobody. And we do that in the dance community. We do that in the church. Without my deaconhood, who am I? If I'm not the top stepper, who am I? If I'm not the top video maker, who am I? If I'm not the top postal worker, who am I? See, we don't want to answer that question sometimes because it sounds so good. Your gifts and your talents go with you, and who you are goes with you. Your principles, your morals, whatever it is that you're dealing with goes with you. And that's the thing with whoever you are, you are. So it don't matter what people did to betray you, deceive you, if they agree with you, get along with you. If you accept to believe that you the only one can do that, how many great dancers do you have? How many great pastors do you have? How many great deacons do you have? How many great ministers do you have? What day is it that God can't work without you? What day is it that the post office or a major corporation can't continue to exist without you? Who are you without stepping? Who are you without your job? Who are you without your spouse or your partner? Who are you? Who are you without your diamonds and your money and your cars and your titles and your education? That's not to say don't appreciate those things or be proud of your accolades or your accomplishments or goals, but who are you without them? Sometimes religion or spirituality is tricky because God, like Nebuchadnezzar and others, you get too puffed up. He'll show you how easy it is to take it. Hey, the devil can quote the Bible. You dig? The devil know the Bible better than some people. The demonic people walking around know scriptures better than you. So don't believe when you hear stories about the wilderness. When you out in the wilderness, don't believe that temptation ain't coming. And that's that person. That's that close person to you that deceived you. That's that close person to you that betrayed you. They tempting you. And they drop that knowledge on you and you wasn't ready for it. You ain't had no response. See, when they drop that knowledge on Jesus, he had something to come back with. So we're not talking about whether you believe in Jesus or not. We're talking about whether the principle behind what the demonic force was doing. It was dropping something on them that they thought they knew. It was an impersonator, an imposter, quoting scriptures. But Jesus knew the real scriptures, so he brought it back. If people know your weakness, if I'm out in the wilderness with no principles or morals to stand on, man, I'm open game. And that's what really gets your friend or your family member. If you really look at it, they're usually walking around with no protection, no covering, no belief system. And by not having no belief system or no covering or no protection, I'm vulnerable. So if you lay that golden goose up there, they're going to take that golden goose and run with it, not knowing that there's a little sign up under the foot of that golden goose to say, if you take this golden goose, I get your soul. See, you know that. They don't know that. So they grab that golden goose and take off running. And they don't know 2 months later, man, they coming to collect, baby. They coming to get that soul. Now you tell how am I gonna get your soul if your body's still living? Don't get mad at me. I just told you not to leave that golden goose right where it is. There's a golden goose over there without no tag on his foot. You see what I'm saying? So these are just my opinions and views. I just want to come on here and talk today. I don't care if one person listens, I'm cool. If nobody listens, I'm cool, because that's what I do. Because you know what? One day you will have one person, 2 persons, 3 persons, to 100,000. That's what I had with my website back in the day. I started off with about 2 people in Detroit. Then I got some people in LA. Then I got some people in Atlanta. Then before I know it, I had 100,000. That's what you call a mustard seed. And how you take a mustard seed and make it grow. But you got to cultivate it. You got to nurture it like anything else. So we keep thinking in this world that things belong to us. When we leave here, we leaving here just like we came. Hey, your kids don't belong to you. Surprise. They don't belong to you. Your house, your car, none of this stuff belong to us. It's a borrow, it's a loan. It's got a lien on it, as they say. And when you leave here, you find that out. Sometimes they try to get you a 6-foot hole. And lately, they just take you to the crematory. You ain't seen no houses at the crematory, no cars, no money, no nothing. So enjoy your moment, live your passion, define who you really are while you're here, because it's not about people, places, and things. It's about living. And you can't have an opinion and a view. And I don't have to always agree with people. What happened to not? What happened to I don't like that? What happened to I don't like you? And it's okay. We don't have to kill each other. I just don't like you. You don't like me. Whatever. I don't like that. I don't agree with that. And just because I don't agree with you today don't mean I don't never agree with you. And that's what's happening now. It's almost like if I say I don't agree with your opinion, or your viewpoint at this moment about this specific subject, the people turn you into an enemy. I mean, I don't agree with nothing in your whole life, and they'll come at you with that, man. It's almost like our minds are not developing. They're just stagnated and stymied on false information, misinformation. No, I don't believe everything I hear in church. I don't believe everything I heard in Bible study. That's the reason for it. Just like school, it's the person that's first in it giving you sound doctrine to go study. You go study and you come back with your questions. Even on social media, you can't have an opinion anymore, a viewpoint. Well, I think such as, oh, you going against the grain. No, I just don't agree with him today. I remember when we had Barack Obama in office. I don't agree with him on this particular policy. That don't mean I don't believe in nothing. I'm a hater and it's no, I don't believe that particular policy. Now, the other 20 he had, I like. But that one, I got a problem with. You can't do that no more. But anyway, I'm through chit-chatting today. I came over here to talk, just to talk. Sometimes you just want to talk, be opinionated, what they call it. I love that word. My friend in church taught me that years ago. I just came over here to pontificate. I love when he said that. And that's just something we do sometimes. We pontificate. We pontificate our point, and we just pontificate and get it off your chest. But anyway, make sure you go over to youtube.com, Dan Land Pro, Webmaster Dan, subscribe.